So this morning I'm going to take you through setting up your profiles so that you can invite your parents to fill out applications online. Okay, so the first step in that process is setting up your center profile page. So you'll get access to that by going to the account menu, coming down to the third one here, which is Setup Org. And then on the second level, the third tab in is Profiles. So we click on Profiles. You'll have at least the one default profile set up, which is called All. Depending on if someone else has started setting up, they might have created additional profiles, but for most centers, a single profile is more than sufficient. And we'll start on that basis. So my center here is called Lollipops Children's Center. And I'll first show you what my profile looks like, then I'll explain how it's been set up. So to view the profile, I just click on the link. Now the other thing worth noting is if I right-click on this link and copy that link address, I can paste that in an email to send to parents or include in my newsletter, and that will get parents to my profile page. So I've just clicked on that link to open it, and this is my profile. So I have a logo that I've uploaded. Most centers will have uploaded their logo already because they want that logo to appear on statements and so forth. If not, you can upload that through the organization screen. It picks up the center details from Smart Central. You don't have to enter that again, and inserts a Google map of your location. Now to dress my profile page up a bit, I've included an image. I'll show you how to do that. And then some text about the center. So I've written a little bit about the Lollipops experience. And I've also included a link to allow my parents to download their handbook. So it's up to you what you want to display on your page, on your profile page, and you can change it at any time. So let's go back now and have a look at how we got to do this. So there's some basic editing required in order to set up the profile. Now I just clicked on Edit Profile. First thing you notice at the top of the page is the profile name, so it's All, and which centers you have linked to this profile page. So that's more important if you have multiple centers. You can create multiple profile pages, one for each center, or you can put all your centers on the same profile page. In my Lollipops test environment, I only have a single center and it's already linked. So I'm going to skip down a few things at first and then come back to them later. So the first main block of text is the heading. Is the description section. Let me just go back to here. So this block called Introduction includes an instruction to the system to load an image and then the text. So that appears beside the Google image in the Introduction section. The detailed description section, which is below, goes the full width of the page. So that's the main difference between the two. You edit them the same way, but they're laid out on the page slightly differently. The introduction section appears beside the Google map. The description section goes the full width of the page and sits below those two items. So we can go ahead and enter in wording to our choice. I need a bit more room. I just grab this tag in the bottom right corner of the box, drag it down to give myself some more room. So entering text is pretty straightforward. Just type away. If your browser has a spell checker in it, it will pick up any mistakes and let you know. And then there's a little bit of markup that you need to learn. So this is just instructions to Smart Central about how you want the content presented. So hash on the start of a line by itself means that this is a heading. So I can have 1 hash for level 1 heading, 2 hashes for level 2, 3 hashes for level 3, etc., and the size changes. That's about the main difference. So entering headings is pretty straightforward. I can also bold pieces of text just by putting double asterisk in front and behind the paragraph. So it can be, or the any block of words. So amazing. So I'll go change that to really amazing. Save that. Flip over to my profile page. It used to say amazing, and now it's totally really amazing. So you can put that around any group of words. It doesn't have to be a single word at a time. It can be multiple words in a row. So we have headings, we have emphasis, so bolding words, and then we can insert links. So these will actually be clickable. They'll go through to the pages that you tell. Very simple format. The words you want displayed are in square brackets, and then the location you want to go to, the web page, is in the round bracket, parentheses, immediately after. Just make sure you don't put any spaces between, and the system will read that and say, display the word here, but mark it as a hyperlink and send it to there when it's clicked. And that can be any location or document as long as it's accessible on the web. So if you have a main website and you want to include a link to that, you can have that, or even to an individual page on that website, or perhaps even a document on that website. So I've included a link to my handbook. So the words that appear are download the parent handbook, and this is where that document's stored on my test server at the moment. And I wanted that to be a heading all by itself, so I put a hash in front of it. Now, if instead of a document or a web page you want to link to, you actually have a picture somewhere on the web, you want to include it on this page, the markup is very similar. You just put, excuse me, you just put an exclamation mark in front. That tells the system that everything I'm about to tell you is actually about an image I want to display. Exclamation mark, this is what I want to call that image, and this is where to go and get it and include on my page. So they're the key pieces of information that control how the page looks. So some of the other things that are also on this page, they control how various things look. So the next section below the content is actually relates to the application form itself. So on the application form, we have 2 blocks of text that you can enter. The first we call the header. It, not surprisingly, appears as the very first thing they see when they log into the application. And then the application footer, which is the very last thing they see just above the submit button. So we suggest that in the header you might put additional instructions for your parents. So if they need extra guidance, you can update the wording because it will be the first thing they see before they start. And in the footer, you would put things you want them to remind them of before they click submit. So many centers in that footer section might say, by clicking on the submit button, you agree to the terms outlined in the parent handbook, or something to that effect. Once they do click submit, they will get a message displayed to confirm that it is a successful submission, and the wording that displays on that page is configurable by you. Now, all 3 of these boxes follow the same markup rules as the sections on the profile page. which means you can include links here. So if you want to, for example, on the successful submissions, send them off somewhere else, you can put a link on that page using the markup that we just went through. And if at any time you're not sure what that markup is, there's a guide for the syntax of it called Markdown. So in the reminder email, so when you request additional information from the parent, there's a template there, follows the same rules. You can also define how many authorized contacts is the minimum required for the application form. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. I'm going into the application form next. And you can temporarily disable applying through this profile. So you might leave that ticked as disabled while you're setting up, or if you need to make major changes and you don't want anyone jumping in the meantime, you can temporarily disable the applications. Or if for any reason you don't want to accept online applications but you do want to use the other parent portal functions, you tick that one, click Save, and the profile will still be created. You'll still have that web page, but the Apply button won't be on the page. So I'll just jump back up to the top for a couple of extra options here. I won't go into too much detail because I'm going to cover them a little bit later when I'm talking about the other setup functions. So partial application for waiting list reduces the size of the application form the parent is asked to fill out. So it's intended for, as it says, a waiting list scenario where you just want to know the parent, the child, and the booking. You don't need all the authorized contacts before you've actually got a space for them, so you do the waitlist form. Anything they enter at waitlist stage will get carried over into the full application form later. It's not wasted, but they also get the opportunity to update if something's changed. Hiding CCMS related questions. So if you're a non-approved service, asking parents about their CRNs is a bit pointless, so you can turn those off. And then the last one, allow bookings made to public available sessions. So that's whether you use simple bookings or you allow the parent to pick and choose between sessions on the same day. Once again, I'll go into that in a bit more detail shortly.